This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we cover the movie Treasure Planet. Joel, I thought it would be a fun task to cover what I like to call movies in the pre-Shrek era, where we were really trying something.
It was
there was a good combo of like computer animation and 2D animation, and there was a great blend, and then we just
Shrek ruined it. Well,
Shrek did ruin it, but also there's another reason why this got ruined
it.
Toy Story started it. Toy Story started CGI movies, but really all Toy Story did was get us to make more Toy Stories. I really feel like that's it. Because we were still doing this. And this is a Disney movie, you know.
Yeah.
This is a Disney film that we're covering. We're covering Treasure Planet, by the way. But I think there are two factors. One, nobody fucking saw these movies. Not enough. That was a big thing. Nobody saw these movies enough. They did not. They didn't make their money back. And then Shrek came out, and it had a chokehold on the early 2000s, probably all the way till like 2015. We stopped giving a fuck about Shrek. It was everywhere. It was easily merchandisable and blah blah blah, and these movies just kind of weren't. They were amazing. They were every single movie. We're gonna do 4 of them because they're all pre-Shrek. Every single one of them is a phenomenal, fantastic movie that one could argue that one being me are better than Shrek by a million miles. But Shrek was it was a jugger fucking knot.
So
just like this style of movie, this style of animation that we're doing, that's one could argue is more expensive to do.
Yeah. It did cost a lot.
It cost a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
Which was why there's not a lot of famous people in it. Some of them are famous now, but like a lot of it is just, which is another thing I enjoyed, because this is another thing that DreamWorks kind of fucked up for everybody. They kept Shrek is nothing but no fucking A-list celebrity actors, and it's just like, I don't know, there's just something missing from like voice actors trying to cut their teeth. Now every single one of these fucking movies that we have coming out, it's always like a super famous person that like they can act, but they don't know how to voice act. And I feel like that's a talent that's like, it's different from being an actor.
I wish they would just give it more to like not A-tier like celebrities or movie stars.
Give me one that's like Phil Lamar.
Yeah.
You know,
you got to
like, you know, Jim Cummings, people like them, and then people who are trying to make it in the voice acting world, because, you know, those guys are all like 50, 60 years old. But like, give me that.
Dude, you could easily have those voice actors in movies like the Mario movie that we was talking about earlier. Like, put those guys in that movie. I'm sick and tired of hearing Seth Rogen, Chris Pratt, Kevin Hart. Like, I'm just sick and tired of hearing all these same people over and over again.
People that you recognize, because it's like they're not doing, with the exception of Robert Pattinson, they're all just they just all sound like themselves. Because have you watched The Boy and the Heron?
Yes.
That Heron is Robert Pattinson.
I know, that blew my mind when I found that out.
Your mother.
He did a good job with that.
Yeah, he did a great job. No, Robert Pattinson does good work. He's a great actor. He was just in a movie series that we all thought were lame.
Which they are lame.
They are lame.
Let's be honest.
But they made that little girl money. He made that little girl money, and he got out. He got out a little bit better than
he made himself some good money. What are you talking about?
And it's just, well, I'm saying, like, I feel like Robert Pattinson, has been able to escape Twilight.
yeah.
I don't feel like they bring it up at quite as much, but I don't think Daniel Radcliffe will ever escape Harry Potter. They'll be like, that's fucking Harry Potter. Honestly, Daniel,
he looks too much.
change your fucking glasses.
Yeah.
Man. Or wear some contact. I don't know what you need to do.
He's never going to
something.
escape it. Never.
But Treasure Planet,
First
an
time
amazing
watching
movie.
it.
Oh, really? An
Yep.
amazing movie with only one flaw.
What's that?
If you try to watch any other version of Treasure Island, it pales in comparison. Because there have been other attempts at Treasure Island. There was even a modern series with Eddie Izzard. Not super modern. It came
Yeah.
out like maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, pretty boring when they're not in space, I gotta say.
Yeah, thank God they did this. And Andrew, this was not Disney's first attempt at Treasure Island.
Are
This
we
was
talking about the Muppets?
yeah, like this is actually
Oh,
considered.
yeah.
This is considered to be their third attempt on trying the story of Treasure Island.
Okay, so so I know about the Muppets. What's the other one?
The first one was their 1950s film, Treasure Island. Second
Okay.
one is the 96 Muppet Treasure Island. And then this is their third.
That's the best one.
It really is.
Didn't everybody
This-
hate Muppet Treasure Island anyway?
I've never seen it.
I don't think.
Maybe
I
we
know
need to do that for
Curry-
like
Tim
a live
Curry is
action.
in it. Oh, we could do a live action landfill, but Tim Curry's in it and he fucks Miss Piggy. I do remember that. They don't show it on camera. But it does, it does happen. Yeah, well, you know what? We'll do a live action film of
Miss Piggy, no.
yeah, because what is it? There's a scene where like Tim Curry says something to Miss Piggy and Kermit goes, "Oh, Piggy, him too."
Oh,
And she's like, and the Tim Curry's like, I fucked your whore.
oh.
But
She
yes,
was sloppy in bed.
so how
Oh, she's a
going
pig.
down on me like a corn cob, chewing on my apple, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I put an apple in her mouth, Kermit. Anyway, let's talk about how Treasure Planet got made. Crazy that it's Disney's third attempt. I never even put it together that it's like
I didn't know that.
It's technically the world's weirdest trilogy.
So this movie was released in 2002, released in theaters November 6th, had a budget of $140 million, Andrew.
Not bad.
It was considered to be the highest costing animated film at the time.
That's insane.
It is.
I feel like $140 million nowadays is nothing.
I feel like they spend that on like every movie now.
I feel like that's I feel like that's at indie films money now.
Exactly.
It almost seems like.
Yeah. So this was directed by John Musker and Ron Clements.
Okay.
Written by Musker and Clements and Rob Edwards. Produced by Walt Disney Feature Animation. Telling of the novel Treasure Island. Now, the craziest thing about the making of this movie is 2002 is when this
Right.
movie came out in theaters. This was originally pitched in 1985.
Wow. Damn.
17 years. So the story goes that Ron Clements had this idea of just making Treasure Island in space.
You know, that it's kind of cliche, even
Yep.
in like 85 standards of just making something in space, you know, but like this is a slam dunk idea. He's super right, because it's like, is not space just the vast ocean of the sky? And are not planets just islands, but big? I was trying to sound poetic, but I kind of fumbled that a little bit.
Dude, maybe I've been watching too much One Piece, but watching this movie for the first time, I was just like, this is just space One Piece.
Treasure Island is One Piece, just a lot shorter. And, you know,
Space.
Honestly, that's Oda's next. How funny would it be if Oda did that? He goes like, yeah, I'm making a sequel. And then, like, as you read it, you're like, wait a minute. This is just One Piece in space.
And he will be like, I know you don't mind. You right, Oda. I don't mind.
You right.
You right.
Yeah, they're like, wait, this is about the galactic government? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is One Piece, isn't it? This is One Piece in space. He goes, yeah, but
it's space.
the Going Merry is a spaceship. And you're like, you know what? Fuck, I'm on board. Okay.
All right, sign me up.
You got me.
So,
Monkey D. Cadet.
Ron Clements originally pitched the idea of Treasure Island in space in 1985 in a meeting. Now, he then also, in the same meeting, partnered with John Musker to pitch another movie title called The Little Mermaid. I don't know how bad he really wanted to get Treasure Island made, but going up against The Little Mermaid, that ain't getting made.
No. Because the Little Mermaid was like a box office hit.
Turning point for like early 90s Disney, honestly. So at that time, it was rejected by Michael Eisner. Then fast forward, it was pitched yet again in 1989 after the release of The Little Mermaid, but Disney was still not interested. Then, after the release of Aladdin in 1992, it was pitched for a third time. But then Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was the chief of Walt Disney Studio, said, "I'm just not interested in the idea."
Why was this such a hard sell, man?
I do not understand.
It also sucks that they were kind of right, because this movie is a box office flop. But
so
it's a cult classic now.
Yeah, maybe they just knew something about it. Now, after this third pitch kind of, fell through, Clements and Musker, who they wanted to get this movie made, they was a little annoyed, so they actually went to Feature Animation's chairman, Roy E. Disney, who backed the filmmakers and made his wishes known to Eisner, who was the CEO of Disney, who in turn agreed to produce the movie in 1995. It was basically said that they was going to produce the movie, but the Hercules movie that these guys were working on had to be completed first.
Damn.
So these guys kept getting, shot down. Finally, they got their chance. Musker and Clements, they really wanted the camera to be able to move around in like a 3D space. And really at the time, technology, it was kind of knocking on the door of getting there, but just wasn't there. But it took them 4.5 years to make this movie.
Yeah. I mean, they adopted something that was originally used for Tarzan. That was pretty neat. That deep canvas technology, which is like, so you have the cell, and then you have a bunch of other stuff. So like how Tarzan kind of moves through the trees, and it kind of looks almost like a 3D movie. That's just because it's like it's a perspective trick, which is just pretty neat. They've done that before in other movies, but I know Tarzan was it was initially developed for it. And then they also came up with the process of digital sets, which is like, I like this because they just make a big set, and then they film around it, which is kind of what a lot of CGI movies do today. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they make everything, and then there's like a cameraman filming it, and it's like, this is what this almost sort of kind of pioneered it a little bit.
They really wanted, I read that they wanted to be able to blend the 2D and 3D animation so seamlessly that you would not be able to tell a difference.
Honestly, damn good job. I personally feel.
For the time, let's be honest, if it took them 4.5 years to get this thing completed, so they started in 98. Dude, it looks a lot better. Like, I compare this movie to Titan AE because that movie came out around the same time, but that was Don Bluth.
Gotcha.
That movie looks rough compared to this one.
Don Bluth is a pioneer in his own right, but he was very much a person who likes to do everything by himself. While when you got the mouse's money, you can get away. You can get a lot of people working for you.
$140 million.
Yeah, you can get $140 million on a movie that was rejected 3 different times.
So I did read that supposedly by 2002, there were 1,027 crew members listed in the screen credits.
Fuck.
And they said about 400 artists and computer artists, I don't know why I said it like that, was credited on the movie. So this was a massive taking.
I mean, even other animation techniques where they used maquettes, small statues of characters in the films, like they didn't use, I think I'm pronouncing it right, maquettes.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like a version of a marionette, basically. But that was used in Pinocchio. That was the last time something like that had been used.
Really?
So it's just like they're doing everything. Even the design process of it was, they wanted it, so they went through something called the 70-30 law.
Okay.
So when they were designing this movie, because it's still, Treasure Planet is an old fucking book, and it has old
1800s, I think.
Yeah, it's an 1800s book, so it's like, so they wanted to keep it 70% traditional and 30% sci-fi. So it's like, that's why they have these spaceships, but also there's a horse-drawn carriage, so to speak.
Oh,
it's
I
like
loved
an alien.
it. Dude, I loved it. It was awesome.
Even the motivate, like the character design, Jim Hopkins is based on James Dean. Even like with Long John Silver, they used people who worked in the office. They liked that this one supervisor talked out of the side of his mouth a lot. And that's why Long John Silver is.
Talks
a lot
like
of the
that.
testing that they did is, so the testing to make sure, because John Silver, he has a mechanical CGI arm, but he himself is a 2D character, 2D drawn character. But it blends so well, and how they practiced this before they designed his character is they took Peter Pan, like a Peter Pan Captain Hook clip of them fighting, and they gave Captain Hook a mechanical arm, and they kept working at that
Interesting.
before, we got our super awesomely designed alien Long John Silver.
Dude, he was I liked him. His whole overall character, everything. Design, love him.
Oh, yeah. So this is, with the exception of space, this beat for beat is Treasure Planet. And, I guess we can move over to the voice cast now.
Let's because there's some relatively big stores, might not be so big at the time, but now they've kind of, grown up.
Yeah, they've blossomed. So we have the cast. I'm not going to do everybody, but the cast for Treasure Planet is Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Jim Hawkins.
Ooh.
Brian Murray is John Silver.
Oh.
Emma Thompson is Captain Amelia.
Yep.
David Hyde Pierce is Dr. Doppler. And Martin Short is Ben. So obviously Martin Short he's famous. He's probably the most famous person in this movie, which makes sense because it's like, he's the movie's Robin Williams. He also shows up way later in the movie than I remembered.
I feel like younger people nowadays would probably know Joseph Gordon-Levitt more than Martin Short.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So for their other works, we have Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Arthur in Inception.
Yeah.
We have Brian Murray is Richard Sullivan in Law and Order, Criminal Intent.
Okay.
Emma Thompson is the Baroness in Cruella. David Hyde Pierce is Slim in A Bug's Life.
Ooh.
And finally, Martin Short is Jack Frost in the Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause.
Oh, God, he was.
He was.
I love
That's the
those
one
movies.
I have a love-hate relationship with them for sure.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of remiss to go into an in-depth breakdown about this movie. I want to talk about it in its highlights.
Okay.
Kind of deal.
Let's do that then.
This movie will grab you at an emotional level and not let go at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, Jim Hawkins, I don't think they lean on, I've never read the book. I'm going to start with that right now. But I don't think they really talk about how, Jim Hawkins, his dad left him. And
really
he pieced out, and it's like he's without a father and he's a ruffian. And the whole point of the movie, they go on this expedition because a pirate by the name of Billy Bones.
Yeah.
Also, I just love the way pirates talk.
It's fun, isn't
They're
it?
great. He's like, "Me chest, lad," because they're looking for. They're like Treasure Island has been this, or Treasure Planet, I should say, has been this myth. They're like, they know. They're like, no, Treasure Island is just a myth. It's not real.
Because what? It's said that the great pirate Flint
Yeah.
hid his treasure.
It's 1,000 worlds worth of treasure, which in the book, it's like 1,000 islands or whatever.
Hid their
And even
treasure
then,
in one piece. I mean, in one location.
Yeah, I mean, the similarities between. That's where the similarities between One Piece and Treasure Planet or Treasure Island end, I feel.
It makes me just realize I think Oda just basically wrote his own version of Treasure Island.
But that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
But it's because Luffy doesn't run into a long John Silver.
No, but it is so emotional. I do want more of it, more story behind him being a kid, growing up as a kid.
You're talking about Captain Flint.
Yeah, Yeah. Well, not Captain
Well,
Flynn.
yeah, that's.
I'm talking about like our main character, Jim Hawkins.
Oh well, I mean, you get all you need to know. He's a ruffian.
You do, but like really sell me on like how much his life was devastated with his dad leaving.
Well, I think it's because, well, first of all, this movie's only 95 minutes
Yeah,
long.
you
We don't
can't
have
have
that
it
kind
all.
of time. But this was back when every Disney animated movie, I feel like in my eyes, was a solid 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's why it solidifies in my brain that it's like a show is 30, a special is an hour, and then if you go to a theater, it's supposed to be an hour and a half. That's
At
why
least.
when Lord of the Rings
At
came
least.
out, it was like, they were like, this movie's 3 hours. I was like, 3 hours? That's 2 movies.
I remember trying to hold my pee doing Lord of the Rings. God.
I had that problem when we watched Superman. That movie was only 2 hours. I was like, damn it, I'm getting old. I can't
Yeah,
be
we're
drinking
getting
these
too
fucking
old.
gallons of soda. Fucking
hold my
almost
pee.
40-year-old bladder can't handle that. Yeah, if you're going into but I digress. So
Yes.
we learned that, there's a map, and it's the map to Treasure Planet, and it's like Dr. Dilbert Doppler, who I believe is supposed to be Dr. Livesley from the book. I'm almost certain.
I've never read the book, so I don't know. The book don't
But
exist.
anyway, they're like, that's Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
That's it. And so we meet the cast of everything. I mean, even like the story's still the same. They go and they look for Treasure Planet. Jim and John get attached to each other. John has this beautiful quote where it's like, it's the part of the movie where it's like he's still conning the kid, because one of the parts of the, beat for beat, this movie is insanely predictable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because like you see the silhouette of John Silver, and then you see the cook
And you're like,
has the exact same shadow and robot arm, and like Billy Bones tells Jim, he's like, beware the cyborg, and it's like he's the only cyborg in the movie.
who else it gonna be?
But he plays a chef, and they let Jim tag along for Treasure Planet, and the Navy comes, and it's just like, I'm trying my best not to like go
Ruin
too
it.
far in depth
Yeah.
to this movie, because it's on Disney Plus. I really can't. If you have not seen it,
Watch it.
you should watch it, because it is actually a good movie. I think it's a good pirate movie. It's a good adaptation of Treasure Planet.
It's just a
They
fun
do-
movie all around. It's a good story.
The
Animation,
work behind
solid.
this movie is insane, and it is a crime, honestly, that they didn't get, like, it didn't make its money back. And it's like, it's part of the reason like this style of movie had its downfall, is because yes, it is very expensive to do.
You know what? I think how they could reclaim their money, because I don't know if you've noticed, Andrew, but there are people online. I see a lot of posts asking for like a live action movie of this.
Oh, that would be the most. You know what? They would probably do it twice, and it would be the most expensive movie ever made. Honestly, the movies that Disney picks to be live action kind of piss me off.
Oh, it pisses me off. Honestly, I don't want this to be live action, because I feel like if you make this live action, you're going to just make it look like Star Wars, which this should not look like. It should not be like Star Wars. But I think a show, an animated show.
Oh, like a show, an anime. I was saying still live action, but make it a show.
No,
They got the
I don't
money.
want it to be any live action. I want it to be like CGI animated. Kind
See
of.
that I feel like that takes away from the magic too, because the blend of 2D, it's almost like I don't want them to touch it at all.
Then do
Just stick to doing Lilo and Stitch, because
yeah.
it's like this one. And the one we're talking about next week, because I figured we'll just do Atlantis.
Okay.
Those two are like, they're prime pickings to make a live action one because it's mostly people.
Yep.
I mean, not Treasure Planet. That's going to take some CGI. Actually, Treasure Planet would be very expensive that I feel like they would do what they did with Lilo and Stitch and just fuck it up for budgetary reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
And but I'll get into it next week. But Atlantis would work, I feel. But it's kind of tough to say. Like there's a lot with this movie. Like, you know, it's if you're close and or not close to your dad, it will tug at your heartstrings because it's just like when you watch John Silver grow fond because he sees himself in the boy.
Yep.
And he's just like, if I don't step in, he's gonna be me. Like he's getting like, and I guess that's kind of there are two lessons here. There's Jim's lesson and then there's John's lesson. And there's just like, Jim's lesson is like, you don't have to, just because the world gave you a bad hand, you don't have to lash out at the world. Like you can be somebody and you don't have to be a problem. You can be a solution kind of deal.
Yep.
And then John learns that it's like, he doesn't stop being a piece of shit. His lesson isn't quite as important.
I think,
but it's like he knows that it's like I can't think of a better way to describe it other than stopping a generational cycle.
I would say it like this: he finally stopped putting himself first,
right,
and cared more about just the well-being of someone else over his own selfish desires.
There's a spoiler, so just hit 30 like 2 times on your fast forward. Yeah. He learns that Jim Hawkins is more important than Treasure Planet, which, unlike Treasure Island, Treasure Planet is a incalculable amount of money.
And plus the teleporter itself.
Yeah.
Holy crap. You can now.
Yeah. Long John Silver gives up basically a one treasure chest. If I remember from, it's like maybe 4.
Yeah.
Still, he probably, in today's money, Long John Silver gave up $500,000. More or less. Life-changing money, sure. But, like, I'm not going to kill anybody over that. I'm not going to let somebody die over that.
Yeah.
John Silver in Treasure Planet gives up such a large amount of gold. It was stored in a planet. It's an insane amount of money. There isn't enough money on Earth. There's not a number that exists to get. There's no problem. His, like, 17th generation grandchildren, if he had them, would have.
Everyone's
with
set.
That kind of.
Everyone's set.
He could buy a planet and all the people in it. He'd probably still have money left over.
He had so much money.
And he gave it all up. And then he got to see, and what do you feel about Ben, the comic relief character?
I like him.
I thought the little pink blob was better, personally.
So the pink, no, okay. He is the better one.
Yeah.
Ben, I'm okay with Ben because I feel like he only came in for like the last 20 minutes of the movie.
That's true. It's like, it's kind of crazy how far into the movie they get.
So I think that was just
you
like.
You think that Ben's a part of the crew. Like, you think he's like a helper on the ship. Well, like, when you go and you rewatch this movie, because I rewatched this movie from like years ago. And it's like, you're like, oh yeah, they don't get to Ben till like almost an hour in.
Yeah, like I was surprised they introduced Ben, and I'm thinking, okay, so we're like still halfway through, like we just made it halfway through the movie. No way they're gonna be introducing a new character this close to the end of the movie, and then bam, end of the movie. Surprising. But I think Ben, you only have to put up with him for so long that it's okay. But I could tell, like, if he came in the same time that, what was it, a Morph was there?
Morph, that's what his name is, yeah.
That would have been
a lot.
But Morph...
Martin Short's got this kind of weird sense of comedy where it's like he definitely needs someone like Steve Martin to play off of, because like a lot of his comedy is just kind of screaming.
Yep.
Which is what Ben does a majority of this movie. He's just yelling.
I've noticed a lot... I feel like for movies, a lot of comedians need that. You almost just need like a comic who is kind of the opposite of you to just... You gotta have the straight man, and like even with like Jim and John and all the people that he's with, it's like it's still like you kind of get a little tired of Ben, even with the limited screen time that he has. But that's really all I want to talk about with the movie. But I will say that there were several changes made to the movie. So the prologue of the film originally featured an adult Jim Hawkins narrating the story of Captain Flint in the first person. But the crew considered that to be too dark, and it felt a lack of character involvement. So instead, they got the best voice in the world. Who?
They got Tony Jay.
Tony Jay. He did a good job.
So, you know, they also intended to show Jim working on his solar surfing and interacting with an alien child, which intended to show Jim's sensitive side in a homage to The Catcher in the Rye. But
Catcher in the Rye.
I don't know, the sequence had to be cut. It was just I don't think it tested well or something, or nobody really cared.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much without I wanted to describe this in a way that entices you to watch it, listener, without actually going into it. Even though this movie is 23 years old, I want to do my due diligence, because there's not a lot of them, but there is a younger generation that listens to this show according to our analytics. And I want to preface it that you should watch this. But we need to move on to your new reoccurring segment, Joel. Reviews that are a treasure, and reviews that were shanghaied by pirates.
Okay, all right. Not bad.
I thought it was good.
I think it's good. I didn't know where you was going, but I like it.
I never do when I start them.
So, Andrew, this thing is sitting at a 7.2 out of 10 with 143,000 ratings. And this is a 1 out of 10 titled, "This is not underrated. Stop saying that." This movie is a mess. It's Disney's third adaptation of the Treasure Island story. As good as that story is, Disney has just beaten it to death. This is a very showy and gimmicky movie, and for most people that covers up the bad writing and annoying characters. I usually love Martin Short, but his character makes you want to stick your head in a microwave. Take off your nostalgia glasses and give this movie an honest watch. Watch it. It is a mess. It is not good.
Whew. You have no joy in your life.
I'm telling you, man. But you know what?
They say I'm anti-nostalgic.
I did not enjoy this movie because of the story or even really the characters too much. It was just the world that this was set in. Space.
It's very interesting.
With space cells and crap like that. That was just fascinating. All right. So this is the 10 out of 10, Andrew, called a missing masterpiece. I just can't find the words for it. It is such an amazing movie. Every single aspect of this is awesome. From the soundtrack to the animations to our protagonists and the other characters. I grew up with it and it's still my favorite animated movie. I'll never forgive Disney for letting this masterpiece to fail.
I'm right there with him. It did win a few awards.
Yeah.
It won an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. It won a few Annie Awards, a Golden Reel Award, a Saturn Award, the most appropriate one. And, it was nominated for a lot of them, but it was a Golden Reel Award that it actually won. So
way to go.
So you got that going for it. Oh, and Austin Majors was nominated for a Young Artist Award. He did not win, unfortunately.
Oh, well, better luck next time, Austin.
So, Joel, they were going to try to franchise this.
Really?
Tom Schumacher. Schumacher. God, I can't read. The then president of Walt Disney feature animation had mentioned the possibility of having a direct-to-video release of Treasure Planet as well as a television series. He stated that they already had a story and some storyboards and concepts and a script for what the sequel to Treasure Planet could be. But, I think it just underperformed. But really, leave it alone. You keep it the way it is. We're kind of doing this out of order because a lot of this movie's failures, a lot of this movie not being where it needed to be is because of Atlantis: The Lost Empire. So I guess we should have done that one first.
Nah.
But when have we ever did anything?
We'll give as much attention
order
to this podcast as they do these movies.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah.
But I believe that wraps up. Oh, there was also a game for the PlayStation 2 and Game Boy Advance. It was met with mixed reviews because it's a fucking movie game. But I believe that wraps up, Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
Go watch it. It
Yes.
is fun. It had, you know what? I know the animation is great, I feel. And I also enjoy the story.
Yep.
What about you, Joel?
I like it. Watch it. It's worth it.
Well, if you'd like to add to our treasure, you can go to patreon.com/cartoondd. There we have the $5 tier that gets you stickers and pins mailed to your door, access to extended audio, bonus episodes, and our Discord. You can go to cartoondumpsterdive.com. We have a shop and an ability to request episodes there. You can follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky by putting in Cartoon DD. We are Cartoon Dumpster Dive everywhere else. If you're listening to this on YouTube Music or YouTube in general, press that like and subscribe, fam. And if you're listening to this on a normal podcasting platform, please rate us 5 stars and write a review. It always helps out the show. So we can be a podcast that you treasure on this planet.
Ooh,
have a great rest of your week.
See ya.
This has been a Lughole podcast.